All right. And we're just doing the video recording, so it's one track. So if you haul off coughing or I do, Bill will just resolve it. Thank you, Bill. Catholic Momcast with Lisa Hendey and Chime Travelers in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to this special edition of Catholic Momcast. I'm your host, Maria Johnson, and we have as our special guest Lisa Hendey. Hi,
Oh, a
Lisa.
special edition. That sounds like breaking news. Da, da,
It
da.
is breaking news. It is breaking news. We love to have you back on Momcast. And this time it's really something fun and special. Years ago you came out with the Chime Travelers books and they were such a hit with the kids. I know that my grandkids love them and I bought the whole series for their library at school and the kids just love it. And I could tell that you loved producing that. But now, dun dun dun, it is an animated series. What? Tell us
So
about
amazing,
that.
right? Oh, this is just the most exciting thing, Maria. Well, first of all, I have to say that I'm such a fan of the Catholic Momcast now that I'm not on it anymore. And so your voice is part of my life regularly. So thanks for that. And thanks for letting me talk about this because it really does have its roots tied up so much in Catholic Mom. And the books were written back in 2015. And the conversation around having the animated series really tracks a lot of the history of what happened with Catholic Mom as well. Because, Greg and I moved to Los Angeles in 2016. And around that time, I was having dual conversations with Holy Cross Family Ministries about, first of all, the acquisition of Catholic Mom, becoming part of Holy Cross Family Ministries. And then secondly, about this idea that Family Theater Productions had to purchase the film rights for Chime Travelers and to do something. We didn't know back then what that would look like. But here we are all these years later with this beautiful animated series, and it's just incredible to see it come to life.
I, I don't really have any authority to say how proud I am of you, but I am just so proud to know you and to have been not a part of this, but to have been ancillary and watching it happen. It is so cool to see, to see dreams come to fruition. We work so much in our little silos as writers. We're stuck in our little rooms. And then to see things, number one, come to print. Here's a copy of one of the OG books. This is like a first edition. And, of The Mystery at Midnight with St. Francis. And I can't wait. I've seen the trailers and they're beautiful.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So now the first 5 episodes are up and streaming at Formed and at Hallow. So if you don't know of Formed, that is the Augustine Institute's wonderful platform. It's got all kinds of great resources. And if you don't know if you have it, check out your parish because a lot of parishes subscribe to it for their parishioners. And in both of those places, we've got the first 5 episodes and also discussion guides that families and teachers and catechists can use with the kids right after they watch the videos. So each of the videos is 23 minutes and it's just 23 minutes of nonstop action that you've seen the trailer, so you know how beautiful they are. And the artwork and all the studio work is done by Herald Entertainment, which is really well known for Brother Francis and other projects that they have for Catholic kids. But this is just so absolutely amazing. And to me, every time I sit and watch one of the episodes, I have to keep reminding myself, breathe, breathe. It's like this weird out of body experience to see these characters that lived in my brain for so long, running and talking and traveling in time.
I love that. Some of the conversations that we had when you were writing it was about characters that you would be in some random place and the characters would just launch into a conversation in your head. And what's that writing process like? I don't think that you wrote these
Yeah.
in view of having them become an animated series. You were just writing a book at the time, right?
No, and it's funny because I tell kids when I go out to do school visits, sort of talk them through the writing process. And I always tell them the first couple of books were written in my boys' treehouse back in Fresno. I would go out there with my laptop. I would climb up into the treehouse, sit in my rocking chair, say a prayer, and then I would spend about 15 or 20 minutes just literally sitting there rocking and imagining the characters going through what the scene was that I wanted them, that I would be writing about that day. And so I would imagine, what did it smell like? What did it look like? What was the temperature where they were? What were they saying to each other? And honestly, I had some nights during that writing process where I kept a notebook next to my bed because I'd be puzzling through, how am I going to get this particular problem to work? And I would have a dream and wake up and have the perfect solution and go under the covers with my little flashlight that I kept there in my notebook so I didn't wake Greg up. And I'd wake up the next morning and go, thank you, Holy Spirit, because here's the answer to the problem right there.
That's
So
so
it's
amazing.
just, yeah. So it almost was like back then, and this is really the only fiction I've ever written. So those characters, Patrick and Katie and their family and their friends, really did become living entities. And the joy of going through watching as a consultant the animation process and seeing how they design the characters and, hearing the voice actors and all that, it's just so incredible. They're really come to life.
Oh, that's beautiful. What's that process for you? So you create these characters, you know what they look like in your head, and then you see the first
Mhm.
animation team go through and create these little animated people, and then you see it on the screen. Are they the same? Do they look the way that you thought they would look? Is it jarring to you?
It's interesting. So the first sort of out of body experience with the characters happened when the books were illustrated way back when, because that was a process of working with the illustrator who actually wasn't Catholic. And I had to remember to do things like remind her how many beads there were on a rosary, for example.
Great.
But she was so good at nailing the spirit of the characters, including my animal characters. Every one of the books had animals sprinkled in them that were really significant to the stories. And so now that we're into the animation process, it's a different animal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're talking about adaptations to the stories. They have to be a lot shorter than the books were. And the characters had really strong physical descriptions in the book. And I think the animation artwork is really true to the spirit of the characters, but things change with the stories a little bit. And so it's fun to see them, grow and evolve too. And so that's really special. And to see, especially some of the adult characters in the book, and the adorable little adopted sister, Wahong, and just the whole family, even the car is super cute. So
I love this for you. It's got to be just the most amazing artistic journey for you to um
So
to
I'm
experience
along,
it.
yeah, I'm along board as a consultant with Family Theater Productions. I have to just say, for any of the listeners that don't know the work of Family Theater, please just go over to Family Theater Productions and check it out. They're really Catholic Mom's sister organization. And, Father Peyton came out here to California because he felt so compelled about the power of media to share the gift of family prayer. And so I have felt from the very beginning of this process that it would happen according to God's plan, because Father Peyton, his biggest desire was to proclaim the glory of God and Our Lady, and also to help families pray together. And this is so in line with that mission. So Family Theater Productions is dream partners, and they've thankfully kept me on board as a consultant for the stories. So that doesn't always happen. My understanding when you're an
Hmm.
author is that quite frequently you get shown the door, but thankfully they've invited me to be part of the process, and they've been so gracious about that and accepting my input on the scripts and weighing in on, future plans and things like that. It's just really exciting.
I'm so happy for you with that. And let's just be honest, you just like to surround yourself with Patricks.
I sure
Venerable
do.
Patrick Peyton.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it funny how life works? So I would have been Patrick had I been a boy. My daddy is Patrick. His mother was Patricia, Patty. And so had I been a boy, I would have been Patrick. And Patrick has always been one of my two major patron saints. And so there are so many Patricks in my family, including the newest one, which is my grandson, Francis Patrick. But it's just, when I had the chance to do these books, that I knew that would be the first one. So
I love that. I love that. So, you were talking about family theater and the whole mission of Father Patrick Peyton and Holy Cross Family Ministries is that family praying together. And I think that the golden piece of all of this is those activities that you have, the questions, the addition to the video that is so good for families to sit down and work with the children to get through it. But sometimes when we are catechizing our children, we are also catechizing ourselves. So I think it's a beautiful thing to watch together with a family. And I am in one of those parishes that does have formed for us. So I can't wait to introduce my grandchildren to this. It's going to be so cool for them to, they've read the
Yeah.
books.
And it's so exciting too that at the website at chimetravelers.org, there's not only the landing page, so you can go to Formed or the Hallow app to get the streaming. And it's incredible that we're on Hallow now too. It's just like
Is it really
mind-boggling because
incredible?
of their.
Is it really
It is
incredible?
incredible. Yes, their
They're great
their
guys.
reach.
Yes,
Their
it's
reach is
amazing.
amazing to me. And
It
so the
truly
fact
is.
that we can be there and in their quality children's content, but at chimetravelers.org, we've got all these resources that accompany the videos. And so there's printable activities, just like what we have at Catholic Mom, just all kinds of things that can complement the viewing experience. So it's not just you're plunking your kid down for
Mm-hmm.
23 minutes, or you're a teacher needing a coffee break for a little bit, so you put on the video. There's all kinds of follow-up resources. And then I'm, of course, continuing to do visits to classrooms and religious ed groups and homeschool groups and everything. So if that's something that you would like, then definitely please reach out. But chimetravelers.org, we've even got a video game that's super cool that you can play that involves the characters too. So
Seriously? Oh, I got to go check that out now. A video game?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
What?
Put on
This
your
is the whole,
little kid hat when you wear it. So
I'm going to do
it's
it right
actually
away.
kind of challenging.
Oh,
So
really? You've
yeah.
played it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. And I can't beat it. So
You can't beat it? Oh, no. Now I'm
no.
super challenged. I'll
It's more of
check
a
back.
dexterity thing, but it's really fun to
Oh,
see.
how
And just
fun.
to see, I think the vision that Family Theater has for this project, that it's not just that we're doing these videos, but just like what they do with so many of their other projects, they really produce a whole cavalcade of resources that go alongside it, so that it's not just a viewing experience, but it's really something that becomes part of the formation of whoever's watching it. And I have to say a huge shout out to Anne Yancey at Family Theater Productions. She's our producer on the project.
Mhm.
And Anne is both an amazing talent in Hollywood, and she's also a former educator. She even was a drama teacher and coach. And so
Oh,
she
neat.
comes with an educator's heart. She understands and loves children. And she's got this just amazing eye for detail. So she's been really great at complementing the project with all kinds of other resources at chimetravelers.org.
Well, that's the best way for learning, to be honest with you, to have this integrated system of different activities that kind of teach but engage, and it's in the engagement that relationship develops, right? So you want this to grow with the family. So that's beautiful. Oh my gosh. So Lisa, what did we miss? What do you want to say? What was your favorite part of this whole process?
I think one thing about this process is that it's taught me extreme patience, because when we blog, for example, at Catholic Mom, we can decide, okay, we're going to write about XYZ. And now, or even with social media, I want to share a beautiful picture of my Mary garden, for example, and it can happen almost instantaneously. And the writing of books is quite a longer process, right? You know that from your own work, that typically it's maybe about a year that a project takes to come into fruition. But we've been in the works of this really for almost a decade. And so to see now, the most wonderful thing is to see children consuming the videos and interacting with them and being so joyful and excited about them. And then the feelings that they have about stories and ideas that they've got. So really the whole theme of the project, I guess we didn't even really talk about what it is because we're assuming people know.
Mhm.
But, Chime Travelers is all about these twins, Patrick and Katie, traveling in time because they're having issues in their real life kid lives, things like bullying or too many screens around or questions of faith and things like that are very real problems. They travel in time and interact with these different saints. And so what we're trying to do with the series is not just teach about the lives of the saints. That's really important and a crux of the project. But more importantly, we're trying to equip children to understand that they themselves, as saints in the making, like you and I, that they're ready right now to be the answer to so many issues in our world. And that with their faith, with the lessons of the saints, with prayer, with accompaniment from God, that they really can make our world a better place. It's something that I feel so strongly about. And I'm so thrilled that we have this platform now to spread that message in a new way.
That's excellent. So tell us, where can we view this one last time? And push
Yeah.
the books too, I guess. All of it. The whole thing is a beautiful
So the
compendium.
books were initially published through Franciscan Media, which is no longer publishing books. And so now they are available through Dynamic Catholic, which is Matthew Kelly's organization. So you can go to dynamiccatholic.com, I believe it is. But more importantly, if you've got a local bookstore, go in there and ask them, especially a Catholic or Christian bookstore, they can order it for you. And of course, you can find them anywhere that you find books online. But please come to chimetravelers.org, which is the main hub for the project. And there you can get to Formed and Hallow. You can go to those places directly too. It's really easy to find them. But you want to catch all those good resources, including one awesome thing is that we've got a coloring book just for Chime Travelers now. And we've also got packets of holy cards that are based on the artwork from the illustrations. And this packet of 10 holy cards. And the prayers were written by Father David Guffey and myself. And they are beautiful. I just want to say, I mean, I love praying with them because the artwork is just so beautiful on them. So that's a great, if you've got someone who's having a first communion or some kind of sacrament, it's a great little gift for them.
That's so cool. Well, Lisa, that is so wonderful. We're so happy to have you here. We always love to have you back. And tell us where we can
Thanks for
find
sharing my joy.
I
I
am
was
just delighted.
I was talking with Roxanne, one of our Catholic Mom contributors, and she reminded me that her son, named Adam, like my son, was one of the kid reviewers for the books way back when we had kids read through and we had kids blurb the books, which can be dangerous, but they were all really great blurbs. And it just reminded me how much Catholic Mom was a part of those early days of this project and what a gift it is, to see how God has used Holy Cross Family Ministries to bless my work so greatly.
Amen. Amen. That's beautiful. And what about you? Where can we read more about you and find you online?
Like so many people, I'm substacking these days. And so I'm still definitely contributing at Catholic Mom. I love being a contributor there. I have editor Barb to thank for keeping me in line. And also, social media, trying to be present there. And always working on something new. So mainly everything gets revolved around being a grandma, though. So it's like I'm picking and choosing things these days based on where I can fit it in around grandma duty.
I
And
love
I know
that for
you
you.
understand that too.
Yes, yes, we're kind of in the same era. This is like we've grown up with all of these Catholic Mom extensions and just watching your career. I always say that Lisa Hendey is godmother to just about all of the Catholic writers out there today, and that's true. Well, thank
I
you,
don't know about
Lisa.
that. I'm definitely a
Yeah,
sister
it's
to you.
true. It's true. It's true. Well, thank you, Lisa, for joining us this week, and thank you, listeners, for listening and watching. And we'll be back next week with another Catholic Momcast. God bless.